up, everybody? What up, everybody? Let's talk about it. It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about everybody. It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is Power Book 2, Ghost, Season 1, Episode 1. Whew. That's a long title. All right, so I want to say before I start this episode that I like the world that Power is trying to set up for Tyreek. I'm not sure how long this season or these seasons the show can last because I don't know if Tyreek can carry more than one season of this type of show. And I do feel like the storyline that they have now going forth with Tasha can really be wrapped up in one season. But I do like the fact that we got to see some of the old characters, even the ones that really irk our nerves and make our skin itch, like Saxon and Mock and Steve and Ott. But we did get to see some people like Effie. They resolved that storyline, and maybe she will come back again. So with all that said, I do think that Power expects us to make leaps and bounds in logic, and it's always been that way though. So I kind of right now I'm just at the phase where we just gonna go with it. If you want to watch the show, just watch the show. I don't know how Tyreek was in high school 2 weeks ago and now he's in college in the accelerator program. I don't know how they plan to keep all of Ghost secret. Like, I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know how Tommy just left and nobody's looking for him. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But I don't want to waste any time. Let's go ahead and get into it. So we start off this episode with Tyreek. He's getting ready for school. He put some money in his bag. He's going to Stansfield. If you remember, Tasha talked to Stern at the end of last season and said that the trust would give him truth if he got Tyreek into that school. So he's a booster. So he let him get in that school, and, you know, he's in the school. So he on his way to Tasha's arraignment, and we see Tasha getting walked up to the courthouse, and one of the guards is kind of making fun of her, telling her that she knows she's not a battered woman because her nails are too nice. Okay, she can try to run that game on the judge, baby, but don't be trying to run that game on me.
I'll see you later, girl.
As Tyreek arrives to the courthouse, his grandmother is asking him to come home, and guess who came back from the land of nothingness, child? Jazz. We didn't even know Jazz was still alive, child, or that Jazz could speak words, honey, because I've never heard Jazz say anything. She just be sitting down, nodding her head with the puff on her head. So she had disappeared. Like, I really don't know the purpose of Jazz's character at all. Why is she even here? She has no purpose, unless they're going to give her a story. If they don't get that damn girl storyline, I know something. Jazz is like,
Tyreek, we want you to come home with us.
But Tyreek says no, he has to stay. Okay, he wants to come home too. And then who interrupts them is Tamika. Tamika and her wig are defending Tasha, honey. So Tamika is looking like Olivia Pope. Really, she looking like Annalise Keaton. Okay, she come up there looking like Annalise Keaton. So I'm like, how do we get Tamika to take Tasha's case? We're going to find that out later. But she says they're going to go with the justification defense. And his mom has to say that she did it, but she did it in self-defense. And so it's their best chance at getting, you know, the least amount of time. He wants to talk to his mother, but she says her mind is made up and we don't have time for that. So they're about to go in and get started. She does tell him that she has to say some bad things about his father. Is he okay with that? And he said he fine with it. So we're in court and the prosecutor is setting up a case of like Q dropping her off. She knew that he was going to be there by himself and she killed him or whatever. So defense says that, you know, they had bruises from the night before and she knew she was going to be the next person to die. So she was doing it in self-defense. And the judge is like, girl, I mean, 24 hours, you know, she was not in imminent danger. Like, I don't know if you could argue that. Then Tamika brings up that Ghost was investigated. He was a monster. He was investigated for multiple charges, all kind of charges she started listing off. She says her client is not a flight risk. The prosecutor's like, well, can you prove that James was horrible? And they go back and forth. And the judge is basically like, I understand, prosecution, you're going to have to get your case together better than this because I know that he was, you know, accused of all these horrible things. But at the same time, you did kill somebody, girl. You accused of killing somebody, so I can't just let you go home. So it's no bail for Tasha. Tyreek gets a text. I think he's late for a meeting or something that he's supposed to have. And we see that Tamika and Tasha are having a meeting with the prosecutor, and the prosecutor offers criminally negligent homicide, which is 2 to 5 years or something like that. And so then Tamika started running it. She started pictures of all the dead people that had died going up to, you know, when he died. And she was saying that Tasha knew that she was gonna be next. You know, basically, I'm gonna run all of this for the judge, and girl, they gonna be throwing Tasha a parade to get up out of this courthouse, okay, sis? Prosecutor's a little shook, so we see that Tasha might could get a better deal. Tyreek running across campus, y'all. He spent 95% of this episode running some damn where, okay? He gonna have to learn time management skills. Once you in college, life is different. So he running across campus to have this meeting with Stern and the dean of the school, which is the black woman. She scolds him about African Americans being on time for blah, 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 blah. And she asks him, is he ready for Stanfield? And he says yes. He feels he's ready. He feels like this will be a distraction from everything that's going on in his life. Basically, they tell him that they want him to tutor a basketball player. His name is Ezekiel Cross. And if he don't pass, you don't stay. And one thing Stern said was like, she was like, do you like basketball? And he said, of course he likes basketball. And I was like, I can't stand Stern racist ass. Tyreek is lost on campus and a young lady points him in the right direction. Her name is Lauren. And she talks to him a minute about this professor that he's trying to find. He's trying to get into Kenneth something kind of, you know, study. She talk about skin folk and kin folk. She run him down. Who is your friend? Who is not your friend? She lets him know that her name is Lauren. So we see that this is going to be a love interest for Tyreek, a la Angela. Now I am kind of upset about the trope that they doing this again with the light-skinned and the dark-skinned girl, the light-skinned girl in school and the dark-skinned girl in the hood. Like, they couldn't even flip it around. Like, y'all making this shit so obvious. I'm just like, okay. I could have flipped it around and had the dark-skinned girl in school and the light-skinned girl be in the hood. Being that her daddy is Puerto Rican, that would have worked. I ain't like that. But Lauren seems like a sweet girl. So she goes on to class. She tells him, you know, I see you on campus later, whatever. And she goes on about her business. He meets the advisor. His advisor is the lady who teaches this class. It's a black woman. And he's like, I don't even understand why you want me to have this meeting. Like, why am I here? And she's like, well, you know, they wanted me to see you possibly because your personal circumstances that's going on. He's talking about some circumstances. Nigga, you know what she talking about. Cut the shit. Your father's death. Your mother's arrest. Like, those circumstances. She asks him how he feeling. And he says he's focusing and he wants to get out of school early. So that class that she teaches that will help you get out of school in 3 years. So he really wants to get in that class. And she said it's going to be a double load of anybody, you know. So he going to have his load. He going to have the load of that extra classes he taking or that class that's so hard. And he going to have to do Ezekiel work because, you know, he ain't finna tutor him. He finna do his work for him. He says he know, but he has to hurry up and get out of school because he needs to help his grandmother. And she says, okay, well, the test to get in the class is a verbal test. And he's going to have to read a certain book in like 24 hours. And he like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Okay, it's no problem. I'm like, it's gonna be a problem, fam. It's gonna be a problem. We see Tamika is meeting with Tasha and they have come up with a good deal. The deal is 4 years probation, no jail time. But Tasha has to allocute tomorrow. When they allocute, that means they have to say everything that happened, who did what. And there's still some holes in the story, like, when did you know, how did you know that he was gonna be in the building by himself? My thing is, I would have said, me personally, I would have said Tommy told me when he was going to be in the building by himself. Tommy told me every night at XYZ, you know, he in there after all the people. I know because I'm his wife. Like, what you mean? I know what time he's in there because when he closes the business because I'm his wife. Tommy told me. Anybody could have told her. You know what I mean? Like, he has so many enemies. She could have literally found out from anybody that he was up in there late and he was by himself and the club is closed. And my thing is, late club closed and nobody's there is probably how he ends a lot of the nights. So, okay. But she has to tell everything, and Tasha obviously does not want to tell that her son is the one who told her this, right? She says, listen, Tamika ain't playing about her license. If you go up there and lie, girl, I'm going to lose my license and you're going to go to jail. She's basically saying that you're opening yourself up to questioning from the prosecutor. When you leave holes like this, they can ask you questions which could possibly lead to you, you know, staying in jail and Tamika losing her license. So she said, so Tasha is like, Tamika's like, is it your son? She started pressing her and Tasha's like, you're fired. Okay, you're done. So Tamika calls Tyreek and tells him what happened. And she says she won't tell her the truth. She won't say what happened. She says she didn't say anything, but that she can't say anything because, you know, of attorney-client privilege. But he needs to get her an attorney that don't mind, you know, dealing with not the truth. We see Method Man in court giving an argument for his client, and Tyreek is watching him, and he seems enamored with him, but in a childlike way, no lie. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Tyrese might be getting a little bit over his head, but we're gonna see. Guy leaves court, and Tyreek approaches him. He tells him he was amazing. He tells him that his mother is innocent. Like, he knows who he is. He recognizes, oh, you James St. Patrick's son. He says, my mom is innocent. I really want you to take the case. And the dude is like, listen, you're not responsible for what your parents did. Start your life over. You got a new chance, you know. And he says, I want you to take the case. And he was like, well, you're going to need $500K up front. Okay, peace. Grandma is talking to Tyreek again. She's telling him that they need to start planning the funeral. So he ain't even had no funeral yet? Child, Lord, it's been very, very, very fast. Tyreek is searching for something. He's looking for something in the room, and he asks Grandma about the files from the daycare. And then Tasha calls, and so she answers the phone for Tasha, and they talk for a minute, and then Tyreek takes the phone, and she was staring at him, and he was like, can I talk to her in private? She was like, well, I mean, why I can't stand up here and listen to you? So I'm like, if you don't go find you some business, Grandma, find something to do. Tyreek goes into the other room, and he asked, why did she fire Tamika? And Tasha was like, because, you know, she wanted me to tell who, you know, whatever it is, who told me that ghost was by itself, I couldn't tell or whatever. So he says, okay, well, I'm trying to figure out, does any of the moms from the daycare need help? I remember they had one mom, she dropped her kid off really late, and Tasha tells him, don't worry about trying to open up that daycare. You need to focus on school, because if you take care of you, you're going to take care of us. And he says he promises, but he does find Epiphany's phone number and information. Jabari and homegirl, I don't know what her name is yet, I'ma learn it, but Jabari and her meet, and they talk about Tyreek's situation. Now, he doesn't want to give Tyreek any type of grace. He wants him to just, you know, because he privileged and he got put into school by a booster. And she's like, well, would you do this for a white boy? And he's saying, well, you know, there's not many black people in class. They go back and forth. So, you know, he decides that he's going to give him a chance or whatever. He's going to listen to him, and they're going to come together, and they're going to try to convince the dean, I guess, or the head of the department to let him in. But she did say something about, don't make this about me and you. And he was like, I'm not making it about me and you. It's no me and you. I was like, oh, here we go with this shit. So here we go with another Saxon or Angela screwing people in her department. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same plots, just with different people. But then we see Epiphany walking up to Tyreek to talk, and he says that he's not there to get the club, and she says, listen, I talked to your mama, you know, I told your mama I'm not doing that no more. And he says, my mama is in jail. She like, oh shit, a bitch gotta watch the news. I mean, I liked her. She was cute. This was not the same girl who played Epiphany in the first season. No, I think this is a different girl. But anyway, she says she's gonna help him out, but he got to be able to get his own product. Okay, so she goes on about her business. Tyreek back in the room with his old friend once again. Like I said, a jump in logic for us to think that his same roommate, okay, at the other school at Chokes, is the roommate that he has now, because the guy's family owns, you know, or has donated this money to the school and has helped. Now, I think they showed us that map for a reason. I think that's going to come into play later on. But this boy's family is like a donor to the school. He's legacy. So, you know, he just happens to be in the same room with Tyreek, because Tyreek has to move in with the other boy now. So he's moving out. And so, you know, the little white boy, I like him, though. He's fun. He's a fun character. So I do like his character. He talking about they going to play, when they go to the club, they going to play like an interracial comedy. I was dying. Like, I live for him. He's kind of like the Tommy of this operation, but we'll see. Tyreek is like, I can't play with you right now. I got Colonical is the name of the class. Colonical, is that right? Y'all let me know what it is and what does it mean, because I didn't look it up. But he got time. He don't have time for that. He has to study. Your boy tell him, listen, I'm glad that we could reconnect after the whole thing happened with Effie. You know, that was really messed up, X, Y, and Z. Tyreek is like, well, you got her number? He was like, yeah, she go to Yale now. So then we see him going to talk to Effie. She's like, hey, you just come out here to see me, or you came for the product? And he was like, girl, fuck out of here, girl. He was like, you ruined my life. You got me kicked out of school, you know, and all of that. She was like, well, you didn't need the money, basically. I needed the money. I was struggling. To pay for books. But my thing was, if you was selling for him and y'all was making money together, then you would have had money for books, baby. But I guess she just wanted more money. She said it's just business. And he was like, were you playing me the whole time? And she was like, no, I wasn't playing about liking you. I really did like you or whatever, but it was just business. And so he gets the product and he walks away. She was was like, "You're not gonna pay me for the product?" He was like, "It's just business." And I was like, "Gather her." But I feel like we're gonna see Effie again. I don't know if she's gonna be a love interest, but I definitely think that he's gonna run into her again some kind of way. He wakes up late the next morning and he's running again to get to his review. He's very late, and when he gets there, they asking him, did he enjoy the book? And he says he don't think the book is meant to be enjoyed. The main character, he didn't connect with the main character. And then they said, well, what did you think of the end of it? And he was like, damn, I ain't read the book. Now, I ain't read the whole thing. I couldn't connect to the whole thing. I just didn't have enough time. The book don't resonate with him. He didn't have enough time. Yeah. And so he leaves, and they talk about giving him another chance. And the professor is like, child, I ain't got no time for this. The dean or whatever. He like, I ain't got time for this. And so the other two, they argue for him about being a great mind because he has impressed Jabari just a little bit. Enough for them to give him another chance. So they decide if they want to give him another shot. The public defender that Tasha has now, she comes in and she baby, she's like, can you give me the same deal that the other lawyer got me? And she was like, and what deal was that? And she's shuffling through papers. I'm like, girl, this ain't gonna be good. This ain't gonna be good. Then the prosecutor comes in and she says that she can charge Tasha with conspiracy if she doesn't give a name to who, you know, shot Ghost, or who told her that Ghost was gonna be by himself is what happened. So she says, okay, well, it's Andre Coleman. So, you know, the prosecutor is like, well, I'm going to check out this and we'll get back to you. And so when she leaves, the public defender is like, I mean, you should tell, you know, this is the best deal you going to get, girl. I mean, it's the best. Y'all, public defenders are, I ain't going to say they trash because they're not bad lawyers. They just have so much work on them and they don't get paid nothing. Okay, so we need to pray about that whole situation. So then we got Saxon, John Mock, and we got Stephen Ott. They in the office. They trying to run a plan by Saxon because you remember that Stephen don't want none of Ghost dirt to come out. Saxon has a district attorney job now. He's like a bigger attorney, a state attorney or something like that. And so, you know, Mock helped him get the job. So they want to charge Tasha with the Kingpin statute, saying that she was in charge of everything so they can hang everything on her because Ghost is dead and kind of leave him clean for the Democratic Party. And they already got a judge to sign off on an arrest warrant. And he's like, Saxon is like, this is local. She had bruises on her arm. I saw the bruises that was on her arm. I cannot come in and make this a federal investigation. Now, you remember, he got it that way because Tyreek saw him with a gun at the scene of the crime the night of the murder. And so remember, Tyreek is holding this over his head to get his mama out of jail, okay? So he tells that to kind of back them off a little bit. Now, when Stephen Ott leaves, John Mock is like, listen,
I brought you in this world, and I take you out.
do what I said do. Tyreek goes to moving into his new room, and he walks in, and his roommate is banging some girl on the bed, child. I said, this too much. This too much. He said he gonna come back later. Saxon goes to a dinner party at his home with his family, and his nickname is Nancy. I said, wow, y'all call him Nancy. And they kind of make fun of him, his brothers and sisters, and, you know, they all do a toast to him because the dinner is for him in his new position. And so later on, his brother talks to him and is basically like, what did you do to get this job? I know you're gonna screw it up. And, you know, kind of like makes fun of him and makes Saxon feel bad about looking like, I guess he's the screw up of this rich, affluent family. Then we see Ezekiel. He brings Tyreek to a house party so to meet his family. So he says, since, you know, he gonna be his roommate, he gonna be all up in his life, he gonna meet his family. So he brings him to the family by Auntie house. And it's a party, it's a party, it's a party. Everybody having a good time, honey. We getting drunk, we getting, you know, having a good time, dancing. Tyreek asks to go to the bathroom, and when he goes to the restroom, we see nobody but Woody, Bobby Brown up in there getting his wee-wee. You know what I'm saying? So he like, oh shit, my bad. It's like the second time today. Damn. He goes out to the backyard and he meets the sister of, he meets the sister of Kane. The sister of Kane is, what's her name, y'all? I forgot her name. He meets Drew. I don't think Drew like him, okay? This light-skinned cousin, he don't like him. And then he meets the young girl that is the sister of the dude in the bathroom, Kane. She is a part of this family, okay? So then we see him talking to her. They like, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? All right, okay. I was like, she cute. She seems smart. She's a beautiful girl. And so then we see Kane come out, and the dude is like, hey, yo, where my girl? And Kane is like, I don't know what you're talking about. First of all, his outfit, I was like, was they doing the homage to like Bobby Brown? Because it definitely gave me a Bobby Brown tee, okay, minus the haircut. But The dude like challenged him about the girl, and the girl come outside. He like, oh, about that girl? And he was like, oh, she's straight or whatever. And they start fighting or whatever. And then Monet comes outside. So Monet is Mary J. Blige's character, and I'm really gonna like Mary J. Blige in this role. I can see this already. So she comes outside, she telling the dude, hey, get on up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. So he leaves, and she's like, you know he gonna come back, right? And she's like, yeah, he gonna come back with something, but you know what to do. And they go ahead and turn around. And so we find out from Diana, I got it. Okay, we find out from Diana that she's black and Puerto Rican, and she have two brothers, Drew and Kane. Okay, so you got Kane like Kane-in. Y'all see that correlation? Like, y'all. He gets a text from somebody to meet at 11 o'clock. Then we see Tamika and Saxon talks. She tells him, he's rushing to her, telling her, okay, I'm gonna give you a hypothetical situation. Let's just say a witness saw a public official at the murder scene with a gun. And she's like, who was at the murder scene with a gun? Was it you? And she like, hell no. I don't want nothing to do with this. Get your ass out of my house.
I don't know you.
I was like, get out. Get out, sir. At the strip club, Tariq friend is giving me life, okay? He out here trying to run his credit card up down somebody's booty. It was funny. It was hilarious. So Epiphany gets the product from Tariq. And then we see Tasha is back in jail. We see Tasha back in jail. And we see Kane shoot Rail like in a stairwell or something. And then Monet just wiped the blood off his head, child. I said, uh-oh, this gonna be something else. Tariq gets up and he's looking at his cell phone. And Grandma has texted him. And then he's texting on two different phones, and I think that his roommate Ezekiel noticed that he had two different phones. So, and then he's going to meet Lauren. So Saxon meets up with the prosecutor about Tasha, and they just kind of chit-chat a little bit. He's trying to pick her brain for what's going on. And then Tariq meets Lauren, and she asked about the professor asked her to come and meet him. He was like, you just want to see me? She was like, boy, don't get too excited, okay? The professor asked me to see you and ask you about the interview because you didn't finish the book. And so he talks about the book, and he says he knows what the dude in the book knows what he was doing. He was making a choice, and she says, well, just give them the real you because that's all they really want. So he's kind of likening this book to his situation. Like when you kill people, you're making choices. Like when you go and step outside your marriage, you made a choice to do that. You could very well have divorced Tasha, gave her settlement, and gone on and been with Angela and lived your straight legit life if Tasha was so horrible. But yeah, you chose to step outside of the marriage. You chose to go kill all the primeras. You chose to do all of this stuff, and that has led you to be dead into the grave. Lauren goes to answer a call, and Saxon taps on the window, and Tariq and him come outside, and they talk about the deal that he had. I'm not going to tell on you if you get my mama out of jail. And he tells her, listen, you're going to have to get your mama to say somebody who told her that the ghost was going to be by himself. And he said she's protecting someone. They will not give her the deal unless she tells the truth. Now, she already said Andre Coleman, but he doesn't have any gunpowder residue on his clothes, is what they're saying. So he did not shoot nobody 15 minutes before he died or whatever. So he says he don't know who the accomplice is, but he gonna tell on Saxon if Saxon don't keep his damn mama out of jail, okay? And he says, well, if your mama want to get out of jail, she needs to tell the truth. So Tariq asks Ezekiel if he can borrow his phone to put a message on IG Live because he knows that Ezekiel has a lot of followers. And what he does is goes on there and thanks Davis, the lawyer. This is what's his name, child? Method Man's character. He thanks him. He thanks him for taking the case for him. So it's kind of like he's pressuring him into doing it through social media. Now we're back at his interview. So this time the interview goes a little bit better. Tariq says that the dude was aware of his actions. He was a killer and he was alienated. He was special. Maybe he was too special that he couldn't survive. So it was that he couldn't, or he was so worried about living up to people's expectations. He wasn't worried about living up to people's expectations. He controlled his own destiny. So they accept him in the meeting. It looks like they're liking what he's going to give. So then we see Darius's phone blowing up, or Davis's phone, excuse me, blowing up about the case. So all this stuff has reached him now. So he's kind of pressured into taking the case. So he calls Tariq to meet up, and he was like, you done forced my hand, okay? So Tariq gives him some cash, and he says, okay, well, this will buy you about a week. He's like, can I trust you? And Davis is like, well, it ain't too many people around. You got to trust somebody. Tyreek tells him the DA knows that she's innocent, but she can get a deal if she can, but she has to tell the truth. He says, the truth will set her free. I mean, in most cases, the truth will set you free. And he says, tell my mom when you see her that if she loves me, she will tell the truth. So then we see him with Tasha, and he's telling her, listen, you got the deal of the century. 3 years probation, no jail time, but you have to tell the whole truth. And you can't say Andre did it because they already know that he did not do it. So you have to tell the truth to me. And he tells her, I saw your son, and he's told me to tell you need to come home. He says that he's not afraid anymore, and if you love him, that you need to tell the truth. So in court, Tyreek has come to see the mama or whatever. So they reached the agreement. They stand up, and Tasha has to allocute. And so she said she was hiding because she was afraid for her family, and the person that told her that he was going to be there by himself was Tommy Egan. Okay. I was like, gosh, she threw Tommy under the bus, but at the end of the day, Tommy ain't mess with them no more. You know, he gone, and hopefully he will stay under the radar. But I'm certainly thinking that they're probably going to bring this up in his episode. I mean, it will make sense for them to bring it up because, I mean, you ain't going to say your name open in court and nobody, you know what I mean, is not going to be looking for you. So, you know, I hope that this comes up in the new series that they order for Tommy. One question from the prosecutor is, why would his lifelong friend kill him? And Tasha goes to say, because I asked him to. And Davis cuts her off. And in the audience, we got Steven is like, boom, Kingpin statute right there. We can charge her. So they go up to the prosecutor and they basically tell the prosecutor, drop the charges. The prosecutor drops the charges. And then Saxon walks over to Tasha and arrests her for murder under the Kingpin statute. And so now shit about to get popping for real, okay? Now, when this is over, Tyreek is telling Davis that this is where the gift of gab comes in, the ghost part of Tyreek. He really convinces Davis that this could be the biggest case of your life. You can take down the FBI, you can take down this, you can take down that if you get her out of jail. He kind of convinces him, and he's like, okay, well, listen, we about to get into the main course right now. Okay, so you're going to have to get some more money because we about to get into the main course. And so we see Tasha going back to jail, and the jailer is laughing at her. I can tell I ain't going to like this the whole season. All right, the jailer is laughing at poor Tasha with them braids, child. Saxon, he goes to his office. He's looking defeated because now he know he in the world of shit if they find out he was in that building. We see Tyreek at a public computer writing a paper for Ezekiel, finishing it up, and then he starts to research Monet. And so he finds that the dad of Diana is this like Puerto Rican guy, Lorenzo Tejeda. I did write his name down. And Monet was his wife or whatever. Wife, girlfriend, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They got kids together. But she was in the picture right next to him. So I'm just going to assume that that was her husband or boyfriend or whatever. And that's the end of the episode. I think that Tyreek realize that this is the connect that he need to get with to do the drugs, to sell it like he needs to sell it. I feel like Tyreek is going to have 2 love interests and maybe a 3rd scooped in, you know what I'm saying, with Effie. I feel like he's going to be doing a lot of running this season because he got a lot of responsibilities. As I said in the beginning, I don't know if Tyreek, the actor, can carry all of these seasons or carry this whole show on his shoulder. But I do think that it was a good first episode. I thought that, like I said, the world building was pretty good. We still got to jump leaps and bounds with logic, y'all. I mean, it don't make no sense. And the tropes, the light-skin, dark-skin trope is really tired to me. Like, I just think it's tired. And I think that Courtney Kemp should do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't you have just like, you could have at least flipped it around. That's all I'm trying to say. But I do like the girls, the young girls, both of the little girls. And I do like the fact that, you know, because they try to act like Tasha was so thirsty as if we were there when her and Ghost met. Like Tasha was just the thirstiest person in the world. We don't actually know. But I'm glad they did portray this Diana character as like, you can come or you can go. Like, you cute or whatever, but I'm not going to be sweating you. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens with the show. I like it so far. I'm going to give it a few more episodes. We'll see what's going on with it, you know. So what do you think? I thought this episode, I'm gonna do like shout out to Color Me Pink. I give this episode a B minus. Okay, it could have been a B plus, but I give it a B minus. But I thought it was a good show. So let's hear what you think about it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my video with all your friends, and I will holler at you next week. Peace.